welcome back to another episode of Lies My Vagina Told Me. Today we have Shawn-Holly Cookson. She is a 3-time Emmy-nominated costume designer, best known for her work on The Nanny, Harold and Kumar, and The Grudge. She has worked with such stars as Renée Zellweger, Nicolas Cage, Pierce Brosnan, James Caan, Whoopi Goldberg, Bette Midler, Pamela Anderson, Fran Drescher, Michael Keaton, Morgan Freeman, Samuel L. Jackson, and the great, late Rob Reiner, to just name a few. She has also worked with this lucky girl, Miss Brigitte Bako. But she's also a designer and an artist in her own right, having had her first solo show this year in Japan called Share the Wealth. Please welcome my fucking brilliant friend, Shawn-Holly Cookson. Yeah. Welcome, Mama.
That was so crazy to hear all that in one sentence.
Thank you, my dear friend, for doing this show. I want the world to know how fucking brilliant you are. And I want to just say something. For years as an actress, I always heard that actors always find their character in the fucking makeup chair. And yeah, that's fun. I love a good makeup job. I love a good blowout. But the truth of the matter is, in my experience, you find your character first with the costume department and with a costume designer.
Yeah. I mean, look, thank you for saying that, because I feel a lot of times that the costume designers are like the stepchildren for some weird reason. I don't know when that started, but I mean, you do. You find your character when you put those clothes on. I have seen it happen time and time again, like when an actor will come in and I can tell immediately when something doesn't work. I could just tell immediately. They don't even have to look at themselves in the mirror. Their body language.
You're a super sage, because not everybody knows that. And I have tried on stuff for you. And I mean, like, you've taken me down to Skivvies. And I'll think, oh, and you'll go, you know.
And it's sad because you don't want to say that when an actor gets excited. You know, you don't. But also you just like, I know what that's going to look like on camera.
Well, first of all, we should tell everybody how the fuck we met, because you've been my friend for 100,000 fucking years. So my story is that we met in my little guest house for our first fitting of a movie that we were going to go do in the Philippines called Dark Tide. What do you remember about our first fitting?
Okay, well, so first of all, you're my first leading lady. And I love saying that because you are my first leading lady. And I was a young designer. It was my first movie. So I was super excited, obviously. And I was so excited that I got to go to your house. It was your little guest house. And I remember, like, the character was more like a sporty kind of a girl, but you were...
Which I am not.
But you were pulling out the fucking, like, platform shoes and, like, all this shit that I was like, I love this, but I don't know that we're going to...
It's a fucking scuba diver. Okay, first of all, this movie, Dark Tide, it was about fucking poisonous sea snakes in the fucking Philippines, and I was a diver. I mean, I was diving like this. Like, they tried to make me not look stupidly unprofessional. But this is like when I say that my vagina made these decisions for me. Like, my vagina said, hey, we've never been to the Philippines. Like, I don't know that I knew I was right for this fucking movie. But then when you came in and I was like, well, I got a bestie. I'm going to be in the Philippines with this fucking woman.
You did good, though. You did good. And you look hot doing it. So,
well, that's because of you. That's because of you. I mean, we had a dance scene, which is something that I am comfortable doing because I was a dancer. I wasn't comfortable with fucking swimming around with sharks, but I was comfortable dancing. And you put me in some fucking iconic, I don't know, what was that?
So what it was a 1940s print that Norma Kamali had used with a lot of her stuff, but this was an original 1940s. It's the feather print, and Kamali used it a lot, but it's from the 40s. And it was a robe. And I knew that I wanted you to have like all that movement in your dancing. Like I wanted you to be able to do that twirling. And so I took that robe and I created that skirt for you. And God, I wish I still had that skirt because it was so beautiful. It was
Me
so special.
too. No idea why there was a dance interlude in this drama. But fuck it. There absolutely was. And it was amazing. And I mean, there were a lot of sex scenes, love scenes, because, you know, 90s. How did I can't remember because you were always there to protect me and protect all your actresses. What did you do to cover our chinka-linka ding-dongs? I don't remember.
I don't really remember you having any kind of real, like, intimate ones.
Just a gang rape or something.
No, we don't want to say that. We don't want to say
No.
that. I was
No, we
like,
won't say that.
I remember that day too. And when you say protected, I remember being very protective of you that day. But for women, usually I just make it for them so that it's comfortable. And it's usually a cut up pair of like cotton panties. And I strategically, because it's weird, you don't want to lose the sort of like organic quality of being like sexy with somebody with some fucking bullshit all like up in your yoni. But I try and make it as natural as I can usually, but now there's intimacy coordinators. So like you have this whole nother level of what happens to women. But I used to cut up panties, like cotton panties.
Really, Shawnee,
Yeah.
if I had to do my career over with intimacy coordinators, I'd probably go to jail. I mean, so this movie we shot in the Philippines, and one day we shot in this like 16th century church. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And I'm in a bathtub, as one is, and I don't notice that there is this poisonous sea snake in the bathtub. Okay, so kindly they gave me a fake snake, and that the snake was supposed to slither up between my boobs, and then because that's what snakes do. So they put a rubber snake and a poor little religious Filipino man behind me with a wire. And the snake kept getting stuck under my boob. And the director was like, "What's wrong? What's wrong with the snake? Why won't it slither up her?" And the guy goes, "I don't know. I think the snake needs to be lubricated." And the director, our dear director, goes, "Well, then lubricate it." And I don't know where they pulled out this giant fucking vessel of Vaseline in a 16th century fucking church in the Philippines. But they were like, I'm like, I will fucking lubricate my own fucking snake. And I'm in the bathtub like this, thinking, guess what? I have finally reached a rock bottom. Okay, let's say finally hit rock bottom. And you were there, and you kept trying to cover me from the crew and my tatas. And I was like, what's the point? What's the point, lady?
I know. This was the 90s. That was like a quintessential 90s film.
That got fucking remade by Halle Berry. I don't understand why you remake a not such a great movie, but she remade it, and I think she's a better scuba diver than me. But it was a pretty fucking crazy time. I mean, we also bonded.
Lifelong friend after
lifelong
that.
friends. So here's what I say. Some of the worst movies, I've made some of the best friends. And it was such an amazing experience. We bonded over parasites, stomach parasites.
I think we both still have them today.
We might. I call mine Peppy. We've become very close. He's the reason I can't fucking enjoy any pasta to this day. But yeah, no, we bonded, and the bathrooms on set, remember the wigwams?
Yes, the wigwams. The wigwam.
You were risking malaria and I don't know what else to just go take a pee in this thing, and there were fucking, like scorpions and all sorts. Oh my God. But we survived. Do you remember that fucking
so much better than mine? I don't remember all of that, but I do remember a lot of the set work. I remember us being on set.
The other thing I want to talk about, so my friend did this show. For how many years did you do The Nanny?
So The Nanny ran for 6 seasons. I was an assistant the first 3, and then I did it myself the last 3. So I was 6 years total, 3 of which I did myself as a designer.
Okay, not every costume designer gets to do a show that is pretty much all fucking about the costumes. Everybody wanted to see what that lady was wearing.
It's true, but I actually think it came after we went off the air. It got even more and more popular with Instagram. What Fran wore, I think, started the whole thing. I mean, you don't get Emmy nominations for nothing, but I think she got more popular for her clothes after, because there was a lot of stuff on TV at the time that was like clothes driven. I think like
nothing like what you did. Nothing. I mean, you put this woman in a brick suit. I mean,
I know. That was so good.
And this show was crazy popular. And I remember one time you guys were going on a little world tour. You were going to Argentina and you were going to Brazil. And I love to travel. And I wasn't invited, but I came and I crashed your party. You were very sweet about it. I'm like, I'll meet you in Brazil. And I show up at this dinner for Fran, and she wasn't as excited about it as I was.
That was tough. I had to basically escort you with our bodyguards. Do you remember we had 2 flanking bodyguards that escorted us to the hotel next door. Do you remember that?
I was escorted out of the building to the
I was with you.
building.
No, I was with you.
But I mean, you guys went to South America. You didn't know. You were fucking rock stars. In Argentina, they were running after your car like you're fucking Michael Jackson. Like it was crazy. What was that like? You didn't know to expect that.
I had no idea. I had no idea until I saw like cars chasing us on the freeway, like trying to get close to the car, like reaching out. Like we had to do like decoys when we'd leave the hotel, like send somebody out that looked like Fran. And then I spent so much time underground in Argentina, like, because we had to go in the service entrance or through the dark hallways to get out to this. I mean, I had no idea that she was that big there.
So huge. Well, listen, I would have played her decoy. I just wanted to play with you guys.
I know.
I would have fucking done craft service. I was such a fan. It's amazing that I was your first leading lady because, oh my God, who has come after? I mean, we've got to talk about Miss Renée Zellweger because you became her point person. How many films did you do with her? And like, what the fuck was that like?
Well, first of all, she's the most like delicious human being on the planet. She's such a light. She's a bright, gorgeous light. And to tell you the truth, I didn't really know that much about her before I started working with her. And when I had my first phone call with her, because I have a Southern name, Shawn-Holly is a very Southern, like when you have 2 names, you can be guaranteed there's a Southern something in there.
Yeah.
And when I talked to her, she was talking to me with like a really thick Southern accent. And I was like, is she fucking with me right now? Like, is she making fun of like my Shawn-Holly name? And I realized like she's a Southern girl. Like she's a Texan Southern girl. And we got on like a house on fire, honestly. Like I think she was a dream to work with. She's like, where do I show up? I want to just like drop trow, she said, which is fucking hilarious.
Drop trow?
Drop trow, and you tell me whatever you want me to put on. And it was just, that doesn't happen all the time. Hardly ever.
But also, she's like one of these rare girls. Like, her fucking body is so tight and so perfect. When you come to me, I'm like, hide my Jewish ass, hide my Dominican hip, hide the parts I don't want to. She got nothing to fucking hide, right? She's just like,
you don't have anything to hide either, Brigitte. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy.
That's friendship. I wouldn't say that, mommy.
You got nothing to hide, and you know it. So you'd be the same thing. I would dress you in the same stuff that I dress her in.
So what are the projects you worked on with Renée?
What If? That's the first one. And that also wasn't like, she wasn't scripted as somebody that was going to be like a fashion forward person, But man, did we turn her into something like, I mean, I still get emails from people wanting to dress like her for their wedding, dress like, where did you get this for this? It's like, I can't even believe how many people resonated with those clothes. And that was a lot of cutting, pasting, like nothing was really what it seemed like, because I made a lot of that stuff.
No, you made so much stuff, and you are one of the few people that I've worked with. So many people go into the costume storage place and pick out things. You build for the actor, you build from the bottom up. And that fucking show the clothes were insane. They were insane. They were insane. And she looked so fucking fantastic. And then you did the next show, which was so different. What was that one called?
God, it was like the antithesis of this gorgeous, powerful woman. And then we did the thing about Pam, which was Renée playing a real life serial killer.
As one does.
It was the most bizarre show I've ever worked on because it was real. You had to maintain like what was real, I couldn't just go off script. So Renee being a size 2 and this woman, Pam, was a size 16.
Yeah.
So first thing, I had to make her a suit. We called it an enhancement suit to her body. So then we had to dress that on top of it. In the heat of the summer in New Orleans, that woman wore that suit. She had prosthetic face, hair. The only part of her body that could breathe was her forehead.
Oh my God.
She had a wig. She had this. She had the suit. She had, in the height of summer in New Orleans. She was a pro.
That is fucking dedication. I've never done prosthetics. The only time I had a wig, they gave me Julia Roberts' wig because Renata, I'm sure you've met her, the wig maker for Hollywood. Renata was making me a red-haired wig for Strange Days.
Strange Days, right, yeah.
Yeah, it didn't get finished in time, and so they gave me a Julia Roberts wig.
Yeah.
And that girl has so much more hair than me. Like, they had to stuff it with toilet paper.
Oh my God.
She's got a bigger head than me. Famous people have big heads. Okay, we're talking about girls, but you've also put some fine clothes on some fine gentlemen, and that's got to be a whole.
I sure have.
Who are some of your? I mean, how do you pick from that list? And we didn't even mention. I mean, there's James Franco. There's so many other fucking Michael Keaton. Your list of people. I'm so glad I started your career like this because it's just gone on and on and on and on. What is it like to put clothes on those boys?
Okay, so I mean, honestly, my favorite, and I love this story because it never happens, but Sam Jackson, the great Samuel Jackson, who I just I can't get enough of. I made all his suits too. I had everything made. We made these gorgeous. I went fabric shopping all over, and I got the most delicious fabrics. Had all of his suits made for him. The first day of shooting, I went into his trailer, as I do with all my actors on the first day, so that I can, just check and make sure everything's cool.
Yeah.
I helped him get dressed, put on his jacket, and he's looking at me and he goes, "What do you think?" And I said, "I think you look amazing." I said, "Do you want to look? Do you want to?" Because the mirror was behind me. He goes, "That's all I need." And he walked out. He didn't even look at himself. He didn't check.
No way.
He just trusted that I knew what I was doing, and he knew that he looked, because he could feel it. And that was it. I've never had an actor do that before, ever. I've always had people like tweak shit and want to fuck around and, change this.
He trusted you.
He was, and with all of his costumes, it was like that. And he looked fantastic, but it's a trust level. Like, you have to reach this kind of trust level with people. And I can tell you, conversely, women that don't, or men that don't listen to me, they look terrible.
Yeah, no, we it's really bad not to listen to you. You are always right about, because you have a different education. It's not just what looks good on you in the room, but you know how it's going to look on camera. You know how it's going to read for the character, because it's when you put on these outfits, these costumes, you walk differently. You find your fucking footing through the clothes. I mean, the makeup, the hair, everything enhances, but the clothes fucking come first, down to the skivvies.
Thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that. And I do want to give a shout out because you did mention the Larry Sanders Show. The woman that I call my mother, Bernadine, she's the one that got me started. She was the designer on the Larry Sanders Show, but she's the one who got me started. And she's the one who taught me all of the things that I know. I was taught from her, and she's old school. She worked with Faye Dunaway for years, Sam Peckinpah. She did all of Norman Lear's stuff, all of those, CBS, Good Times, All in the Family, Maude. She did all of that.
Oh my God. Oh my, she's a fucking icon.
She's
an
icon.
Like you.
And so I learned everything from her. Everything. That was my first gig, was the Larry Sanders Show.
What a way to start in this business. So you and I are great friends. We're such great friends that, I introduced you to my manager, and well, lo and behold, you married him.
Yeah.
And how many years now have you guys fucking been together?
20.
20 with a great
years. Married 16. Alex motherfucking Hertzberg.
Alex motherfucking Hertzberg. Well, let me just tell you a little story, because I've been telling my audience about how, and this story, how I found out at 25 that I'm the product of an affair with this very wealthy Italian, and I plan to dig him the fuck up. because your mom, Bern, moved to Italy and I want to fucking be your neighbor. And I want you to come visit us.
Yes.
But it was at your fucking yard sale. When I was 40 years old, it was at your yard sale. You were selling stuff because you were moving in with Mr.
With
Alex.
Alex Hirschberg, yes.
And it was at your yard sale that this like Eastern European man walked in. This, I remember, very tall man. I wish I could find his fucking email.
I remember too.
And you said, you go talk to him. He's one of your people. He's like he's Russian or something. And that was the guy that I said, hi, where are you from? He said, I'm from former Yugoslavia, Belgrade. And I said, oh, that's crazy. My real father was Italian, but apparently he lived in Belgrade. So this guy was a former journalist. And he's the one from your fucking yard sale moving in with my manager that uncovered all the information about Bookie Finzi, about his book at the Library of Congress, about the money that never went to the fund, about the villa that I believe should be ours. So it really all beginnings lead back to you, Miss Shawn-Holly.
That is an incredible story. Like, I remember that. And, it's funny how life just does things like that. It just gives you a little kiss of like magic.
When that shit happens, it makes you feel like the whole damn thing is scripted and you are exactly where you're supposed to be at every effing fucking moment, right?
Yeah.
Kind of crazy. Now, I just want to say something. Like, we both had long careers, but all I've done is this career. You have a very successful marriage, raised the most amazing daughter, had this incredible, iconic career in film and television. And then, just one day you just decided, I think it was in the middle of a strike. None of us were working. And you're like, I'm just working on my art, some collage. And you show it to me one day. And I'm just like, what? How? Where did this come from? I mean, I know you're brilliant. I know you're an artist. But this shit was so incredible. And lo and behold, never having done this before, Shawn-Holly Cookson, you get this one-woman show. What was the name of this art show that you did in Japan?
It was called Share the Wealth. It was the very first piece that I did. And it opened the floodgates to this experience of my art. They're like little vignettes where when you see it and you know the title, it's going to inform this little story for you. And you bring whatever you want to that story too. Like, it's definitely something that people resonate with. It just kind of like blossomed into this
blew up like your career, like all your work. You do something fucking once, it blew the fuck up. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, I can't afford one. I want one so badly. The one I want, and I'm going to show it, is called Possibilities. It's my favorite. And she sold this iconic work to, like, I don't know, the richest fucking collector in all of Japan. She's going to have another show, hopefully is it Mexico City, New York? What's next? Do you know?
We're debating right now. I would love to do Mexico City. I don't know why I'm so resistant to doing LA. I should, because it's my hometown.
See, your art is going to take you all over the world. My vagina took me all over the world. Sometimes good, sometimes not so good. But we're still grateful. We're still grateful.
Your artful vagina?
My artful vagina. She's very artful. But I mean, okay, so we know that our industry is going through a little bit of a something, correction, hiccup, a growing pain. We're in the corridor before the 2026 fucking explodes beautifully. I know you still very much love working on film. If you had a choice and you could just, be throwing yourself into your artwork and doing shows all over the world. I mean, I know you're scheduled to go do a whole series out of town. I mean, what pulls you these days?
Okay. Look, I love film. I love film so much. I love doing a film. I love the camaraderie of being on a film set. I love when I have a crew. I love all that. I love it so much. And that's one of my just joys in life, is working. I also love my art. I mean, it satisfies a different layer for me. But you know what? I also want to have a fucking dance studio. I want to fucking have like a cooking channel. I mean, there's so many things I would love to do.
Fucking do it all kind of lady.
But I love film. I do. And I'm excited to go do these films with my husband. We're going to do a slate of horror films because horror's where it's at right now.
Yeah. On the streets and in film. That's where it's at. It's always been. I've never done have I done a horror film? Oh,
I don't know. I think Dark Tide was kind of a fucking horror film, if you ask me. But
well, it was for the actress doing it.
I know.
I guess so. I did another horror film, but of course, when you're in the horror film, it's not as scary as when you watch the horror film.
No, but, like,
You know?
Strange Days was pretty horrific in a interesting way, like, that
Yeah,
was a
I guess.
scary film.
Well, I guess that was like a sci-fi, but yeah, end of the
It wasn't
world.
slasher, but, like, it was scary. I still don't like to watch that scene where you die, like, I don't like that.
I think my mother had a heart attack when she watched it.
I
At least I invited her to a premiere and she sat in the
Yeah.
front row and like they ushered her out. She could not and filming that fucker with Tom Sizemore. I mean, I don't know. I want to get Catherine Bigelow on the show for the 30th anniversary because she's badass and amazing. But like that fucking death scene took 3 days. I'm like, do you have any fucking crazy, wonderful stories about Mr. Nicolas Cage?
Well, other than the fact that when I heard that he was gonna be directing his very first film, and there was gonna be me and some other person interviewed, only 2 people, I was like, "I am gonna cut a bitch if I don't get this fucking movie, like, I am getting this movie. This is my movie, like, step aside." And I did.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I did not. Which movie is this? This is.
It's the only film he's ever directed. He's never directed anything else. It's called Sunny. It has James Franco, Harry Dean Stanton, and Brenda Blethyn, Mina Savari. It's the only film he's ever directed.
I didn't know he directed it. I fucking didn't know he directed it. I just thought he had starred in it. I don't
No.
remember because I don't remember
No.
anything.
Directed it, and it was in New Orleans. I was like, this is my film. It was his first and only time directing, and it was shooting in New Orleans. Now, mind you, I have had a desire since I'm a child to go to New Orleans, and I was like, this is my ticket. This is how I'm going to get to New Orleans. And we went to New Orleans during Mardi Gras. Nicolas Cage was the king of Bacchus that year. So not only did we have like all of New Orleans at our like fingertips, but because he was king of Bacchus, like we did all of the Mardi Gras stuff, all of the balls, all of the events. I felt like a fucking princess the whole time. Like I just felt like everything on this movie was fantastic. The crew, the location, the money, like everything was just like perfect, which doesn't always happen.
No, rare. Fucking
And
rare.
he was so like gracious and kind and so easy to like interact with. Like when we talked, it was so easy for me. And we would come to set sometimes often dressed in like the same leather pants because we both had these leather pants that were made from the same designer. And we would show up in our leather pants together. And then twinning with Nicolas Cage. And he would come up behind me. He's like, great work. This looks great. Like, which is so rare. I don't know why, but he was so like gracious with everything. And
So wild.
I wanted to work with him forever, but he's never directed another film.
Maybe he will. Maybe he will. That's so interesting. But you decided after that film, like, I'm fucking following my heart. And you did film after film in New
moved there.
Orleans. And you moved there in your fucking badass Cadillac. And you made your perfect child.
Yeah. Miss Ava Marie was born in New Orleans. She's a New Orleans baby. And then unfortunately she became a Katrina baby. Like that's like it's a thing.
They're badass. They got a force.
Yeah.
Force behind them.
A fucking force for sure.
And she's your little mini-me, man. She looks fucking just like her beautiful mama. And she's just such a brilliant.
She's a little punk rock Jean Harlow for sure.
About your early fucking beginnings, like in your punk rock fucking days, who you were, I don't know if you want to talk about this, who you were hanging out with.
Well, I was feral. I was a feral wild child. Like there's no doubt about it. Like I had no boundaries and I was a punk rock little feral beast.
You were hanging out with everybody and you knew Courtney Love. You knew all these crazy badass bitches.
I mean, it was a punk rock in the 80s in LA was a very special time in retrospect. Back then it was just what it was, like the Starwood and the whiskey and, all of these like Rodney Bingenheimers, like disco night. It was so fun. And it was a time that I kind of miss. That kind of
You're so lucky. We had no such thing in Canada.
No,
nothing. I mean, now hockey players are fucking each other. Back then, nothing. Nothing was going on.
Yeah.
Because I always say this, you and Alex, it was so rare. You're both natives. You are born and raised in like fucking Topanga Canyon. You're like a native LA girl.
Yeah, we're like little unicorns. I call us unicorns because I don't think that you've run
Oh,
into very many people actually born in Los
no.
Angeles. I mean, they are obviously, but most I don't know. Most of the I don't know how where we all go, but we're little unicorn weirdos for sure.
Not only have you inspired me in my fashion sense, my wardrobe, my films, my life, but you were also a muse for my TV show G Spot because one of the characters was completely based on you. She was my costume designer. Her name was Francesca, which I think was the name of your cat, and she
That's
was
true.
fucking crazy. She was the single pre-motherhood version of my friend Shawn-Holly, who was just high on the hog, winning Emmy nominations and working on The Nanny and all these great movies. And she was the most fucking fun character. And
I
you are my
know.
only friend that didn't fucking disown me. I wrote about all my friends. Nobody talked to me for 10 years. You're the only, and I had you doing all sorts of crazy things.
And I've
Things that
thrown
you
up.
didn't really do, like snort coke off of people, because you know you got to be able to make some shit up.
Well, you're pretty cute about that, Bridget Bako, because you know that most of that shit was not made up, and you know that that's why that character was so
Well,
fucking.
I don't want to out you.
It was very much like where my head was at when I was at that age, and you know, I was a wild child, and if I'm not mistaken, wasn't she one of like your kind of favorite people to like? Wasn't she one of your favorite characters?
She was my all-time favorite character. She was my all-time favorite character. Oh, and because this is the other thing. So she was Francesca Jean, right? Take on Shawn-Holly. She was a Southern girl, but she identified as Jewish. And she was like Tatala and Oi and yeah and this and that. She was more Jewish than me, who was a Jewish character. She was just fucking amazing, amazing, amazing. And one of her great we're going to show this. One of her great characteristics was her supreme fucking road rage. Nobody did it better than you. Motherfucking trick asshole, where you learn to drive? Oh, she's here. She looks wonderful. I mean, nobody fucking did it better than you. You and I both don't fucking drive on the freeway anymore, but there was a time you and your badass Cadillac, which I used to call your living room because it was so fucking big, you took no fucking prisoners. I guess because you're a native LA girl, because I am meant to be driven and I'm terrified. I think everyone's on crystal meth.
Oh, with that Cadillac, girl, that Cadillac was everything. It was the very first car I actually bought with my own money from the nanny. And this is before anybody like besides like older, Jewish people in
And
Florida
pimps.
and pimps. I had a fucking Cadillac. Nobody had a Cadillac.
I would love you to tell us about, because I was with you in New York when you were shooting this. Tell us about the movie you did with Rob Reiner.
Like I get so choked up hearing his name, but I want to keep him in the light because he was such a delightful person. Best summer of my life, I think, going to shoot that movie with Morgan Freeman in Greenwood Lake. And I went in for an interview and I prepped the shit out of it. Like I had boards for everybody. This is when you used to do boards, like vision boards. And I
Yeah.
had vision boards for every single character. And I came in and I said, "Who do you want to see?" And he told me and I showed him and he said, "When can you start?" Like he hired me in the room. Like I've never had that happen before in my whole entire life. I like floated out of there. Like I don't think I touched the ground for months afterwards. And it just led into the most magical summer of my fucking life. I took the whole family. Everybody came. Alex, Ava, and we went to Greenville. And we were in New York. You know that because
Yeah,
I saw
I
you.
went
But
shopping with you in New York
yes.
and I would show you things and go, Shawnee, and I think I'm helping. And with you and your assistant, I'm like, Shawnee, isn't this perfect? And you just fucking go, stop.
But Rob Reiner, I can't. There's not enough good things that I could say about that man.
Who the fuck has had such an illustrious career, my friend? I mean,
A lot.
again, when we were putting out all the iconic people you worked with, I said, no, Shawnee, I cannot put 20 million names. It's only a 30-minute podcast. We can't, like, I can name on a fucking hand and a half the people that I loved working with, and yours just keeps going on and on and on and on. I mean, I don't think you give yourself enough credit for how important you are to this industry, how brilliant you are, what a great friend, lifelong friend you make. I mean, and everything you do, like I couldn't go to Japan when you went, but like I'm coming to Mexico City. I
Yes,
want
you
to
are.
stand there and then I want to make a lot of money so I can own one.
You're gonna come to the next one for sure.
I just want to thank my brilliant, amazing, talented, super fucking nova of a friend, Shawn-Holly Cookson, for coming on and telling us about the world of costume design because honestly, it's the foundation for everything. I just fucking think you're amazing and you're very, very humble about your career. And it's one of the most outstanding, amazing careers in the business. And I just want all my listeners and viewers to know who the fuck you are.
I always have to refer to my IMDb page anyways, because I forget what I do all the time.
I've had a lot of great costume people in my life. I usually fall in love with them, but ours
You-
is the most enduring marriage. And you were my first too. So it's like, I would love to work with you again. And I hope we get to, maybe you'll do the costumes for when I dig up my dead father.
Yeah, okay, that sounds good. But also above and beyond that, Bridget, like our professional like relationship has turned into family. Like
We're a family.
you're my family.
And what do we call that? Mishbuka.
Mushbuka.
Yeah.
Mushbuka. I learned so many Yiddish words on The Nanny.
That's where you picked it up. Oh my
why
God.
Francesca Jean was so, you know.
She's so Jewish. I love you. I thank you for coming on. Lucky me, I get to see you naked at a spa. And you're my bestie. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you.
Lies My Vagina Told Me is hosted by moi, Brigitte Bako, produced by Jacques Telemaque and Léa Sherman, artwork by Léa Sherman, theme and original music by Jack Moore for balletguitar.com. See you next time on Lies My Vagina Told Me.